like we are recording. That's great. Okay. We're also lucky enough tonight to have our account manager for Unifrog with us, called Paul Osbinston, and he will be answering any of your questions at the end of the video presentation tonight. And you can see him on screen at the moment if you want to give us a wave. Thanks, Paul. Today's session is a video presentation which has been pre-recorded from a representative from Unifrog, and will take you through how to log on to the Unifrog platform with your son or daughter, and how you as parents can use the system using a separate account. So within your EduLink invite on the email or letter that you were sent through, you should have received a parent access code, which was KEPI in capital letters and then parents in lowercase. Please note that this is only valid for a period of 30 days to activate your own account, and thereafter will become invalid. So as parents, you can activate your account as soon as possible. If you can do that, then you can, as soon as you've activated your account, you'll be able to go on and view the Unifrog resources platform as much as you want after that period of time, after you've logged on, but you just need to do it within those 30 days. As well as using it alongside your son or daughter to find out their career aspirations, it can also be used to start a student thinking about what they'd like to do after they leave school by searching their favourite subjects at school or industry areas that they might like to consider. It can also be used for you guys as parents as well. So if you're considering different career options, or maybe a changing career path and not sure really what to do, you can research different careers on the library, through the careers library and on Unifrog as well. It is an absolutely amazing online careers resource, and it is a one-stop shop for everything to do with careers. Students will use it in tutor times during school lessons, but we are also trying to encourage this to happen at home with parents so they can do extra research outside of school as well. For those of you students in lower years, this presentation talks a lot about different options as they go through their schooling, so please bear with the recording until the end. Although some of it may not be quite relevant for you right at this moment in time, it will give you a much better idea of their next steps at each stage, when they are post 16 at the end of year 11, when they have to make choices, and if they stay on to sixth form, what their choices and options are after when they're 18, so after they've completed their IB. It also provides a path of progression for your child and their future learning and career choices, so you will gain a better picture of what is to come in the future. So without further ado, I will play the presentation, and then there will be an opportunity for questions with Paul at the end, or as I mentioned, you can write this in the chat box as we're listening to the presentation, and I will feed those back to Paul at the end of the session. So let me share my screen with you, and we will begin the presentation. Excellent. Sorry, let me try that again. I needed to press a button so that you can hear the sound, which I forgot to do. Okay, hopefully everybody can hear.
Well, they're making the best decisions for them once they leave school or college. So we're going to cover quite a bit of information today about the Unifrog platform, but the first thing that we're going to do is show you how you can actually sign in. So to do that, you just need to go to unifrog.org, so you can see this page here, and click sign in on the top right hand side of the page. That will then take you to this page here, and this is the page that you'll use to sign into Unifrog every other time apart from today. Today we're creating that account for the first time, so all you need to do is click sign in for the first time on the right hand side, and that will take you to this page. You'll then see lots of different boxes to fill in. Your school or college should have given you a code to be able to actually sign in. So you just input that code into the top box and then fill in the rest of your information underneath and hit sign up. You'll then need to agree to some terms and conditions, and that will take you to your student account. So this is exactly the same view that your child will see when they sign into their account, and you have access to all of the tools that they do. So the first thing they see is a percentage complete bar at the top, just shows them how much research they've done and how far through they are in terms of logging activities, recording key employability skills, and then actually making applications as well. The first thing that you'll see at the top, and this is the same for your child as they sign in, so they'll sign in and they'll see any upcoming tasks that they might have. So these are tasks that teachers might have set them. So you can see here a couple of examples. I've been set a task to complete my personality profile quiz, and all I need to do is click the button here to actually do that task. The next section is then where we would start to explore pathways. And these nice colourful tiles allow me to do that. So you'll see here we have a number of different tiles. The first of which that I would suggest that students start with is either the personality profile or the interest profile quiz. And this is if they're not sure about what they might want to do. These are great ways for them to get started. So you'll see in here we have personality profile, which is linked to the Myers-Briggs personality profiles, and that will then link the students up to the careers library to explore relevant careers, but also feeds them into the subjects library as well, so they can look for relevant subjects for their personality type. Interests is more to do with what the students are interested in, and that will again feed them into the careers and subjects libraries respectively. So for now, I'm just going to jump into the careers library. So this is a great place for students to investigate impartial information about careers they might be interested in going on to. So you'll see that as a student, I can favourite my own profiles at the top. I can search through by keyword. I could pop in some school subjects that I'm enjoying and hit go. That'll throw out options for me. I could look by career area. So this is sort of sector, subject area, theme. So you've got arguing as a key theme in there. Might be more relevant for some. Competencies and personality type underneath. So if your child has taken the quiz, it will highlight their results and they can just jump in to see the careers related to their result here. So if I show you an example of a profile, let's go for this one here, investment analyst. You'll then see a video of someone who's actually in that career talking to students about their day-to-day life. And then underneath, you'll have the job profile. So you'll have what you'll do, key skills that are required for the job, and later on, students will build up a record of their key skills. And in this section, it prompts them to do that. So you can see this prompt to our competencies tool. If the student clicks that, that will take them into their competencies tool to record examples of these key skills for this particular role. And you'll notice this a lot across the whole of the book, that the tools all seem to link up. So it creates very much a journey of investigating pathways, recording key skills, and then making applications. As we scroll through, you'll then see career path and progression, any related career profiles, so they can jump between them. Related university subjects, so they can find out more about what the subjects are like to study at university. They can search for courses, and also importantly apprenticeships. So this is all side by side, so they can jump into our search tools from here. You have entry requirements, hours and environment, and then labour market information showing students where the jobs are in the UK, where they can earn the most money. So it's really, really powerful information, and this is all recorded within each individual career profile on Unifrog. This is local to where the school is. So this school that I'm signed into at the moment is based in Essex, but you can sign in whichever school you're signing into. You will then have that information local to you. If I'd like to add it to my favourites, I just click add to favourites here. That'll then pin it to the previous screen, and then it also suggests other career profiles I might be interested in here. So it's very much designed so students can go down a bit of a rabbit hole with this and explore lots of different career options they might not have considered before. And as you saw, it links up to the other tools within Unifrog too. So the next tool I want to show you is the subjects library. So if I click Go to Tool here, this is where students can look into what subjects they might be interested in studying later on. Built in a very similar way to the careers library, you can see that you can favourite guides at the top. You can search through by keyword, by school subjects, area, characteristics, interests, and then personality type as well. So let's say I'm interested in agriculture as a subject. If we click read the guide, Again, you'll see a video. This time it's of someone who's recently graduated from university for that subject, talking about their time studying. And then underneath you have a number of drop-down menus to help you explore more content for this subject. So their story is pretty much what they're saying in the video in text form. In a nutshell, is a really useful summary tab. And this is great because it has the 10 most popular school subjects for that particular pathway. So if your child is in the lower school and thinking about A-level options or even GCSE options, this is quite a good bit of data to compare where their subject preferences might fit with future pathways. You then have getting in requirements. So this talks about key qualification levels, academic project work, wider reading. It also talks a bit about MOOCs, and these are massive open online courses, essentially short taster courses that students can do to get an idea of what it might be like to study a subject later on. They are fantastic, and we also have a search tool, which you might have noticed just now, which allows students to search for those courses on Unifrog. I'll show you that in a second. So it talks a bit more about key competencies, application processes. We then have an example personal statement for each subject in this library. So this will give you an idea of how you might start that personal statement. It's got annotated notes to say why the student said certain parts of that statement. And this is a really good starting point for students. Obviously, really key they don't copy this, but they should know that anyway. But just a great starting point for them, as I said. My favourite part of this is the Geek Out section. This is essentially a reading list for students so they can understand the wider context of the subject. So you have specialist areas, hot topics at the moment in that subject, cross-curricular ideas, you have podcasts, videos, films, books, newspaper articles, journals. It covers such a huge range of different things. And this really makes students stand out in terms of their applications later on if they can talk about these things as part of interviews or even in their personal statements as well. The Explore tab at the bottom, this then relates this subject to relevant career profiles in the careers library that we just looked at, so they can jump between the two. And then students can also jump in to search for university courses, but also apprenticeships for this pathway as well. We then suggest other subject areas students might be interested in looking at, so that again they can jump across and have a look at those. So if we click home, I just mentioned MOOCs as a key thing to look into, and we have a search tool that allows you to actually search for those courses. These are actually really good, and I've done a couple of these myself. They are really good uses of your time. So if you fancy having a look and going forward with a MOOC, please do have a look at those. There are thousands of courses in there to explore. Now, another key area that I think is worth noting is the know-how library. And this is really useful to give you loads of information about different pathways. So if your child is interested in degree apprenticeships or SLP programs, you can find information on that within this library. So to do that, you just go into the apprenticeship section. If your son or daughter is looking at college or sixth form, you can click go here and there'll be loads of guides within that section. We've also got a whole section which is dedicated to wellbeing. So this helps students with mental health difficulties they might be going through, including anxiety, coping with change, leaving secondary school. All of that kind of stuff is covered within the wellbeing section. So I'd really encourage you to have a look at that. If you want to find out about student finance within the UK, US, Oxbridge, that kind of stuff, this is all covered within these tabs. And here are a few examples that you can see down the bottom of the page here. Again, as with the careers and subjects libraries, you can actually favourite your own guides so you can refer back to them. Okay, great. So as we move through then, this first section, as we said, is all about exploring pathways. The next section of tools is then talking about actually recording what you've done and creating a bit of a record of achievement for you as a student. So you can see here we have activities, competencies, and interactions. Now, activities and competencies are student driven and they're reflective of what they've actually done in the past. Interactions is then what the school or college would log for your child as a task or as a careers event. So that's the key differentiator here. Students log activities and competencies, and the school or college logs interactions. So activities is pretty much what it says on the tin. If your child has done Duke of Edinburgh, or they've got work experience, or they play the guitar, that kind of stuff, they would then talk about that within the activities tab. They would then reflect on those activities and come up with key competencies they have and employability skills within the competencies tab. And this is very much building up a framework they can then refer back to later on when they make their applications. So the earlier your child can actually get started with activities and competencies, the better. I'd suggest these are really easy things for them to get on with early on, and that just creates the groundwork for applications later on. Great, so as we move through, we then have searching for opportunities, and you can see this section covers a range of different bases. We have a university search tool, apprenticeship search tool. The apprenticeship search tool is a live feed with the government website, updated every 24 hours, but we also manually pull in a lot of apprenticeships that aren't showing on the government website. So it's a super comprehensive tool, and this is the place that students would be looking for apprenticeships. Now, every single tool in this section works in exactly the same way. It's a 5-step process to create a shortlist, and that shortlist gives the students all the information they need to make the most informed decision about their future choices. What that does is it saves the shortlist to their profile, it emails it to them, and it also emails it to their tutor. So as a tutor, you can instantly see, okay, I've got a couple of students in my form group looking at apprenticeships. How can I support them in going on to that pathway? So today I'm going to go through the universities one to start with. So if we hit start here, you'll see the 5 steps to create a shortlist at the top of the page. And each shortlist search tool has a bit of background information as the first step. So in this case, obviously it's talking about student finance, a bit of background about application processes, that kind of thing. Students will hit next. It'll then ask them where they normally live, and this is going to control the fee information that we show to them later on. So they'll select from the drop down and hit next. Now, if your child is in sixth form, this is the view that they'll see. If they're in the lower school, they will see a view like this. So they'll then be able to still use the tool and correlate their GCSE performance or likely GCSE performance into A-level results, and they can then use the tool in the same way. Today though, I'm just going to use it as if I'm a sixth form student, and I would then pop in the qualifications that I'm doing. So we have a range of qualifications in here for the students to explore, and they'll then select whatever they're doing, select a grade, and that'll then give them the associated UCAS tariff points for that qualification. For ease today, I'm just going to leave it as A-levels, and let's go with ABB and hit next. It'll then ask me what I'd like to study. So if I'm not sure, the subjects library is a great place to start, but if I know, I can type it into the box here. So if we stick with psychology for now, hit next. This page is really important, and this brings up direct matches to what the student has typed in, but also similar subjects they might want to consider as well. So this really broadens their horizons in terms of the course titles that are available. You can study obviously more than one subject at once at university. So if you want to widen your content as part of your degree, you can do that. You can select up to 10 different combinations in here and hit next. You'll then see every single course available across the UK is then sorted into 3 columns based on the entry requirements. So you'll then see aspirational choices on the left-hand side, solid choices in the middle, and safe choices on the right. Now you'll notice there are courses in here that are showing a red exclamation mark on them. This is just notifying the student that these are above the grade range that they've put in. So in this case, obviously I put an A and 2 Bs. So A star AA is out of the range that I've put in, so I'm clearly showing that. If I'd like to remove those courses, all I need to do is click filter and then no courses out of my range. You'll then see that the only courses that are being displayed now are within the grades that I put in at that previous step. You'll also notice there are lots of different tabs at the top of the page which allow me to filter down the choices in more detail. So if distance from home is the most important thing to me about my university experience, I only want to look at universities that are within 20 miles of where I live. I can do that. If I want to go as far away as possible, I can do that too. I can have a look at big cities, Scottish unis, Welsh, campus universities, that kind of thing. We've also got different course types. So if I'd like to have a look at sandwich degrees, I can do that here. With a year abroad, if I want to have a look at Russell Group only, I can do that too. And you can see that we can then combine different filters. So if I then like to select any courses, I can do this as I'm going through. And on top of the filter, we can also rank the courses. And this is why we pull in lots more data into the tool. So from here, you can then see we could sort by the fees, and that would sort low to high in terms of the tuition fees for the courses. We've got average rent, which is something that I didn't consider when I went to university, and I wish I had. It does range quite a lot. A very popular button for students is the average salary one. Quite unsurprisingly, they'll probably select all of the top ones here. You've got dropout rate, hours of lectures, hours of seminars, hours of tutorials. You have world ranking for the university, and you've also importantly got a social life ranking too. So once you've selected any courses you want to find out more about, again, you can select up to 10. You'll hit next. This then gives you your shortlist. So you'll then see a map of the UK showing you where you are in relation to the courses, which is really helpful for some students who don't know how far away they need to travel for university. And as they move through, they then have a profile for each course. So you'll see photos of the uni, links to book yourself onto an open day, have a look at the course pages, etc. Key course facts, tuition fees, entry requirements, university facts, and a video from their website. Now, what's really interesting here as well is we pull in data from what last year's successful applicants got for this course. So you can see the entry requirements are here, and actually in reality they got in the middle of those entry requirements. So it's quite useful data for students to look at. And again, that's repeated for each course they selected. So as they're moving through, they can read about each course, delete any they're not interested in, and then when they're happy, hit save. That saves it to their profile, emails it to them, and emails it to their tutor. If I want to get back to a shortlist, I just click shortlist at the top of the page, and I can then see all of the shortlists that I've created throughout time. Okay, great. So the next tool I want to show you today is the apprenticeships tool, because I think this is a really key thing for you to know about. As I said, this pulls in live vacancies locally and across the UK for your child to actually look for. So if we hit start, again, you'll see the 5 steps that we've just been through for the university shortlist creation. First page is talking to students about the different levels of apprenticeship, obviously talking about the basics of earning while you learn, what are SLPs, what are standards and frameworks, all key stuff that they need to know. Hit next. This will then give you a list of all the different standards and frameworks that are available. You can search by keyword by typing into the box. You can sort these by number of vacancies, for example, by salary, jobs, employment hours, different options for you. So if we just select a few up here and hit next, this will then give you a map showing you where you are based on the postcode, and you can change that if you want to. And then you choose a radius in which you want to search for vacancies. So if I only want to look at apprenticeship vacancies that are within 10 miles where I live, it gives me a good visual representation of how far I might need to travel. So we click next. And as with the UK Uni tool, this sorts all of the opportunities into 3 columns based on the level for that apprenticeship. So you have intermediate, advanced, and higher in degree. Generally, students will be looking at one of these columns based on where they are in terms of their progress at school. And you'll see that automatically it's sorted by distance. As before, you can click filter and you can narrow down what you're seeing. So if you want to have a look at the different start dates, so if you only want to look at apprenticeships that are starting in over 2 months' time, you can do that. If you only want to look at degree apprenticeships, you can do that here. And you'll see those. There's lots of different options in here. So as you're going through, you'll be selecting any you're interested in. You can then rank them as well. So if you then want to rank them instead of distance from home, you could rank them by start date, deadline. Also, weekly wage is a really popular one. I'm always quite surprised to see how much you can earn while you're on these apprenticeships. You've also got training provider, which is obviously really key to consider when you're looking at apprenticeships. And then you can select up to 10 opportunities you want to find out more about. Hit next. Again, we then show you a map showing you where the apprenticeships are. And then underneath you'll have the profile for each opportunity. You have a link to their website, and all the information that you need is in one place. You'll notice qualifications are listed in here, and also skills and personal qualities. So again, students can then use that to actually input those into their own competencies record. When I hit save, that saves the shortlist to my profile, emails it to me and emails it to my tutor. And then all I need to do to apply is just click here. This opens the shortlist, and then I can just click the apply button here, and that will take me directly to the application page for that apprenticeship. And I mentioned just now about uploading your own competencies for the skills and personal qualities, and you can then see that we've got a link to record those and also to create a CV on Unifrog too. So it's a really easy process for students to explore pathways, record what they've done, search for opportunities and make applications. Great, so if we go back to the homepage then, and then scroll down past the exploring pathways section, past recording what you've done, past the top section of searching for opportunities, you'll then notice we also have this special opportunities tool here. And this is one of my favourite additions to Unifrog in the past sort of year or so. This allows you to actually search for contextual offers, summer school placements, internships, bursaries, scholarships, all of that kind of stuff, all in one place. And historically, this has been quite difficult to find as it's dispersed across university websites. And this is really helpful for the students that are eligible for those kind of opportunities to just jump into a search tool and find those that are relevant to them. So I very much encourage you to go through that tool. It works in exactly the same as the other tools that we've just been through, that 5-step process to create a shortlist, and then you apply for those opportunities through the shortlist itself. Great, so as we move down then, the next section is then where students actually start to draft their application materials. So you'll see when the time comes, your child will actually write a personal statement on Unifrog. They will also be able to write their CV too. So this allows them to reflect on the competencies they've logged and actually pull them directly into a CV they're creating, breaks it down into nice bite-sized chunks for them, and then they can then download it and send it off to employers or apprenticeship applications. You'll also see we have Common App essay help for US applications, and that's a really good place, again, for support and advice for writing a Common App essay. Students will then be able to record intentions. Teachers can upload work to a student's locker as well, and also then the student would record their intended applications, which makes it really easy for the school to track destinations data. And that pretty much covers everything that you need to know about Unifrog. I'd really encourage you to have a look around this. There is so much great information on here that will help your child to make the best decisions when they leave school. And yeah, I'd encourage you to have a play around. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you found that useful. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with the lead contact for Unifrog at your school, and they'll be able to help you out.
Thanks for listening to that, guys. That's the end of the presentation. What I would say is that since that's been recorded, there are a few extra add-ons to that, which Paul maybe can take you through. I know a couple that I've seen recently that have been updated, and Unifrog is constantly being updated with further information and further tabs on it. But one in particular, which is really important for our students, is virtual work experience or work experience opportunities, which is also found on the special opportunities tab. You can search on there for any work experience once you get to year 10 plus. So at that stage, your son or daughter can take part in work experience online. Up until that stage, if anybody wants to take a part-time job or a Saturday job, then that is sometimes available with local employers. The other one, which is a new addition to Unifrog, is pre-recorded webinars, which there is training sessions and things on there for students as well, I believe, Paul. Is that correct?
Sorry, so the webinars, not necessarily training on how to use Unifrog, but the webinars look at so universities. So universities across the UK have been presenting. They look at skills. So there'll be a webinar series that students can watch on what different skills you need for different careers. And we have speakers from employers from the likes of Facebook, the CEO of Russell Group, who was talking about university placements, and we've also done a subject discovery series where students can learn about what it's like to study particular subjects at university level. So yeah, lots and lots of really good webinars for students to access.
Okay, great. I've just had a quick look on the chat function. I can't see any questions. So do we have any questions from any parents that are on the webinar this evening? Anything that you would like to ask with regards to your students' progress, your son or daughter, or any questions on how to use Unifrog at home or with them, with them at home or during school, how it's being used? Are there any questions? Would anybody like to ask anything? No, everybody's been very quiet tonight.
Oh, hello. I've got a
That's
question,
great.
actually.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, it's Abigail here.
Hello.
Is this something that each child has loaded already and they're being encouraged to use?
Yes, so it is part of the tutor programme. So every other week we have a career session on a B week on a Thursday in tutor time, and so each year group will do something appropriate to their level, their year group, working through from year 7 right the way to 13. So it's in preparation for making careers decisions as and when they need to throughout their lives. So yes, it's an integrated program. We launched this back in September last year, and unfortunately we have only used it a little bit in school because of obviously COVID and not being around. So the focus has been on academic learning, but the intention is to use this far more now over the coming months as we're back in school.
Okay, thank you. And also one more thing, Rebecca, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can we also access our child's Unifrog profile through our parent access?
No, you can't do that for security reasons, because I know we try and keep the information private, don't you, Paul? And that's why parents have the access code to create a separate account.
That's right. Yeah, the code, the account that a parent creates is essentially like a student's account. So you can play around with the account, but unless your child actually gives you their access, then that's their account and that's private.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
That's all right. I mean, the whole idea of this, Abigail, is for you guys to kind of work alongside your student, your child at home, to encourage them to do some research. And obviously in the younger years, we look at interests, hobbies, what they like to do at school, getting them involved in clubs. And as it progresses through the year groups, is encouraging them to do work experience, but exploring what they want to do, because these days we don't talk or we don't ask about what they want to do when they finish school, i.e. as a career. We ask them, what skills they're interested in, what interests they have, what hobbies they have, because that's where it starts. And obviously, as we all know, our careers can change many times, over the years, and we have different directions that we go in. So we're encouraging students to follow something that they enjoy and like. And obviously, in some cases, students have specific ideas about what they want to do. But Unifrog is such a clever platform where you can, research careers from subjects that you enjoy at school to interests that you have. So, it covers everything. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Great. Is there anybody else that would like to put their hand up and ask a question? I know there was somebody else just before Abigail, I think, came on. Anybody else? No? It's very difficult when you can't see anybody and you've got a blank screen. That's absolutely fine. I mean, this session has obviously been recorded, so it will be sent out on EduLink for other parents that haven't been able to attend the meeting tonight, and it will also be able to be accessed on our careers website through the school website, if you would like to look at this at a later stage and use this with your child respectively at the right points in time. But please do feel free to use that parent code and log in within the next 30 days so that you can actually create an account and explore for yourselves, and do it alongside your students, your children, so that you can share the resource together. That is the idea behind it, is that we are implementing this in schools so that we are doing formalized tutor lessons during school time, but that they use their spare time to research around their interests and find out what they'd like to do for future careers. So if that's everything tonight and no more questions, I really thank you for your time, and we'll speak again. If you do need any further information with regards to Unifrog, you can contact myself, Rebecca Pointer, or at careers at Skinner's Ken Academy, and we're available to answer any questions on any careers related questions apart from Unifrog as well. So thank you for your time, and I will say good night. Thanks, Paul, for your time as well. I really appreciate you coming on tonight, and I'm sure we will be doing some more work with you in the future.
Indeed. No worries.
Thanks again. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, bye.